Every note we play, every word we say belongs to you. Every breath we take, every note we play, every word we say belongs to you. Every breath we take, every note we play, every word we say belongs to you. Every breath we take, every note we play, every word we say belongs to you. Every breath we take belongs to you. Every breath we take, every note we play, every word we say belongs to you. Every breath we take, every note we play, every note we say belongs to you. You are our healer, our healer. Lord, you are healer. Every breath we take belongs to you. I love you for being my Father. You are our Father. Father. You are our Father. Every breath we take belongs to you.
Welcome to Friday Night Live. I am your host, Kat Carter, And I am so excited that you are here hanging out with me tonight on this Friday evening because I have an awesome lineup. Oh, yes, I do. I have the Sax Lady in the house, and I have the founder and the editor in chief of the Journal of Gospel Music, Robert Marovich. He's in the house as well. Oh, my goodness, this is going to be a great show. So, Friday Night Live is a positive platform where we come to inform, innovate, and inspire. Yes. So let's do a little encouragement and then we're going to get right on with the show. So our encouragement today reads, closer than the air I breathe, God is with me. And whenever I seek reassurance or comfort, I know that God is there to listen. Hello, God. It's me, and I need you. My heart is yearning for you alone can give me the peace I desire. I know you will help me, God, by filling me with your love. Through your loving touch, I experience the peace that will help me carry on. Today, I need strength for myself and also add strength to help others. When my own human efforts are not enough, your love and peace will lift me above my own limitations to a place where I cannot fail. I believe in you, God, and I need your help right now so that I can also believe in myself and in the endless possibilities for me. Right here, enfolded in your love, sustained by your strength, and soothed by your peace, I believe. The peace of God soothes me. Yes, he does. Taken from the Daily Word, 365 days of love, inspiration, and guidance. All right, so let me tell you about my friend, the Sax Lady. Oh, I hope you all are ready. Oh, my goodness. So, the Sax Lady, this is Crystal Brown, better known as Crystal Brown, the Sax Lady. Sax Lady, better known as Crystal Brown. Yes. She earned her Bachelor's of Science degree in biology at the University of Memphis, and she earned her Master's of Science of Occupational Health, Safety, Health, and Environment Management at Columbia Southern University. She has over 25 years in the chemical industry with experience as a microbiologist, chemist, and now regulatory and compliance. She is a member of the Society of the Chemical Hazard Communications, the Order of the Eastern Star, and Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. She, along with her husband Kenneth, are members of Linwood Christian Church. Crystal is also known as the Sax Lady. Oh, yes, she is. And that's because she plays melodies at various venues throughout. Please welcome to Friday Night Live, recording artist, the Sax Lady herself, Crystal Brown. Yay!
Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm Crystal Sax Lady Brown. I'm excited to be on the show with Kat tonight and Robert. The first song that I'll play for you is a song of encouragement. We've been going through so much this last year. 2020 has been somewhat of a doozy, but even in all of that, there's a song that lets us know that before the foundations of the earth, God planted everything in us that we need to make it in this world. So we can make it. Even in this epidemic, we can make it. We can make it no matter what, because God has done so much for us. Not only has he done so much for us, he's done enough. So with that, first song, he's done enough.
Oh my goodness, Crystal, that was beautiful. Oh my goodness, you took us back a little bit. You took us back there a little bit, didn't you?
I'm doing great. How
How are
about
you this
you?
evening? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming to Friday Night Live and sharing your
Thank you
beautiful
for
gift.
having me.
I got, yes, I got some
I got
questions
some
for you. You
answers.
ready? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, what first got you into music, or who inspired you to start playing the saxophone?
Now, I come from a music background, but who inspired me to play the saxophone was a gentleman named Dr. Bernard Johnson. I was in the sixth grade, and it was during the convocation that one of the friends of our family brought an album over, and it was Bernard Johnson, and he was playing "He Touched Me,"
Mm-hmm.
and he talked about how he had asthma and he couldn't breathe, and he said, "Lord, if you touch my lungs, I'll blow for you the rest of my life." And when he played, it just,
Mm-hmm.
it just resonated with me. I don't have asthma, thank the Lord, anything like
Right.
that, but it was just the fact that the way he played just hit my heart, and so my soul. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna play just like him. So
Wow.
the seventh grade happened. I didn't get in band. I didn't even think about it in seventh grade. But the eighth grade, I got so sick of music, of vocal music and singing falsetto, that
Mm-hmm.
I told my mom that I wanted to get out of the vocal music and get in band.
Mm-hmm.
That there were only two instruments, and that
Mm-hmm.
was the xylophone and the saxophone. So I started going, Mom, which one of these should I play? And so she
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, at the time I was taking piano lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do very well at all. Not at all. My brother, on the other hand, he was awesome.
Oh
My
wow.
sister and I, we sucked bad. We sucked rotten eggs bad.
Because
And
you're
so,
supposed to be on that saxophone.
yeah, so she said, well, since you're already taking piano lessons, why not learn how to play the saxophone? And
Mm-hmm.
I forgot all about Bernard Johnson. I forgot all about him.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, so I got in the wrong band because
Mm-hmm.
I got in the eighth grade band when I should have, even though I was in the eighth grade, I should have gotten in the seventh grade band, the
Mm-hmm.
computer band, but
Mm-hmm.
it worked in my schedule. And so while everybody was here, I was like here, and I had to catch up. That in elementary school, I played a recorder, and the recorder is like an introduction to woodwind instruments. It's a plastic looking um, instrument that looks sort of like a clarinet, but it's made out of plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And so that helped. Even playing the recorder, my mom used to allow me to practice the recorder in the car because she taught at a school that was, I would say, 20 minutes from the house, 20, 30 minutes from the house. So she had us transferred to go to school with her.
Okay.
And so when the music came on, I would pull out my recorder and start playing the songs like Blue Cross and Blue Shield, all these kinds of old jingle tunes.
By ear?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That's
I
when you
was,
know it's a gift and not a talent. That's like a gift. You can do that ear thing. Oh
well,
my
see,
goodness.
I didn't know that. I was just
Oh
playing,
wow.
I was just playing what I heard, and thinking back, I'm like, why did mom let us do this? But even when I got in band, I would practice. I would sound so horrible. And the next year, my sister and I are like a year, 15 months apart. So
Mm-hmm.
she got in band in the seventh grade, and we started practicing. And we had like a sign off sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom was, I think she was, yeah, she was not only teaching, but she was working on her master's. And
Okay.
so we would practice all the way to our school till she dropped us off. Because by this time, our school was like 5, 10 minute walking distance from her school.
So
So
how old were you then?
let's see, 12.
Okay.
Lex was 11. So I was 12. Yeah, I think so. 12, 13, something like that. Whatever age I was, she was a year behind me.
Okay.
And so we would practice in the car. She just roll all the windows down and let us practice in the car in addition to practicing at home, and doing all that.
Oh my goodness.
We would practice all the way to Leicester Junior High School. And she was like, okay, see y'all later. And I asked her recently, I was like, Mom, why did you let us practice in the car? She's like, y'all like to play, you know?
Oh my goodness. Little did she know, look
Yeah,
at you now. That's awesome. Thanks
yeah,
for sharing that story.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you did not become a musician, what would you be doing right now? Microbiologist still?
Well, I'd still do what I'm still doing.
Oh,
I'm still working for a chemical
shout
company.
out to biologists. Yes.
Yeah, I'm still doing that. I do that by day, and I play at various places. And I'm also a Mary Kay consultant. So I just started
Okay.
that last year.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, you know what? If anybody's is interested in America, I think I have your other. Okay, this is her information. If you're
oh yeah, that's
interested.
me. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
you gave me that too. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
oh, look at me. Look at us. But yeah,
Okay.
a lot of times I think back and I wonder what would happen if I majored in music, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and really pursued it more, um,
Mm-hmm.
because I, my brother and sister and I started a band. I think by the time I was 14, 15. I was
Mm-hmm.
15, Celeste was 14. So Chuck was 19, 20, something like that. So
Wow.
we called the Wilson Trio. And we just played our little hearts out at church, go out of town and play, and all this kind of jazz, play at conventions. And we played at the National Convocation of the Church of God in Christ when it was in Memphis, Tennessee, at the Cook Convention,
Wow.
at the big place.
Wow.
And even Andre Crouch's father told
Oh
us
wow.
he told us, Bishop Crouch, he said, we played, we used to play Power in the Blood. And
Mm-hmm.
he told us, he said, yeah, I heard some Crouch in that. I heard, and I was like, and all this kind of stuff. So, and I think, I'm like, well, why didn't I major in music? Because I don't know. I kind of felt like I didn't know if I could do anything with music. We were taught get a good job, get a good
Yeah.
education. So I was like, well, what can I do with music? And it it just didn't dawn on me the things that I could do. And then I was sharing with my husband. I've been married twice.
Mm-hmm.
First marriage, yeah. But anyway, long story short, I'm not going to even go there. Long story short, um, our band, we played from all the way up until the time my brother got really ill and passed away.
Okay. Sorry to hear that.
We stopped playing maybe a few, yeah, we stopped playing a few years before he passed. And so then when we stopped playing, I just put my horn down. I would try to pick it up, but I just put it down and wouldn't do anything. And I was having little kids, little babies.
Mm-hmm.
And when I remarried, my husband saw my horn and he was like, well, why don't you, is that a saxophone? I was like, yeah, it's a saxophone. He's like, well, play something. I was like, well, I used to do this and I used to do that. And we would listen to music. He was like, can you do that? I was like, yeah, I used to be able to do that. He said, well, let's see what you can do. And I'd go, honk, because it was such a long time. And so I kept trying, and he's a Mason, and he started inviting me to, different events. I just saw somebody right now.
Anisha, yeah. I was gonna make
Lady
sure you give her a
Texas,
shout
like
out.
Lady
Mhm.
Texas. I see my sister on here. My mom's on here too. And some of my
Oh,
god sisters, Margaret, I think Nisi, I think they are. But anyway,
wow. That's
and I know
beautiful.
my family, the rest of my family's on. I don't know. Ken was taking a nap when I went downstairs, so he might still be.
Uh-oh. He can
But
catch the replay.
he encouraged me to pick my horn up. Not only encouraged me, surprised me with a horn, a nice horn, and started volunteering me to different organizations. My wife can play; she could play that.
Mm-hmm.
Get my wife to play, and I was like, they don't even know what I sound like, and I
Mm-hmm.
was struggling and trying and sucking and blowing air, and I just finally kept going, and so it was like I kind of looked at it, I was like, man, I lost a lot of years here, but no, it was for such a time as this. So I needed that
So the years he
break. Yeah.
restore those years. Yes.
So then I dragged my sister on in. I was like, I'm playing. You need to pick up your horn too. So she plays too.
Oh, awesome.
She plays saxophone.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for telling me the story. You know what? I got time for maybe one more question because I
Okay.
want you to play one more time before you leave us.
Okay.
So, um, if you had one message to give to your fans, what would that be?
That message would be whatever is in your heart to do, work on that. Don't look to the right, don't look to the left, but that gift that God has given you, He's given it not for you just to hold, but for you to bless the world. So, uh, talent and gifts are one thing, but you also need to horn in on what your calling is, study or whatever it takes to improve. So that would be my message to you. Just whatever, no matter how audacious, how odd, how weird it sounds, um, go for it and pray and ask God to show you what to do. And God will show you how to do what you need to do.
That's it, Crystal. That's it. We have to give a shout out to saxophonist Aisha DeBose is on here,
Yeah, my
and
good.
your mother, Rosa Wilson. Is it Ritter? Am I saying
Yeah,
that
that's
correctly?
my mom.
She is
That's my
on
mom.
here. Are there any
Yeah.
other shout outs you want to give before you do your
Um,
final selection?
I want to give a shout out to, I saw my sister, Celeste Wilson, saxophonist Celeste Wilson. She's an author. Margaret Wright, Stillworth. I saw her on there, and I think Ken, let me see, is he on there? Ken, my sweetie might be on. If not, he's asleep.
Okay. All right. So,
So
what you gonna play for us next? What you gonna take us out with?
I'm going to take you out with your song. My favorite. This is my favorite song. I love songs of Thanksgiving, and this is one of my favorite songs.
We have a lot to be thankful for, and this is the season
We
of
do.
Thanksgiving. We just had Thanksgiving. I wasn't able to spend it with my family. We didn't travel because of COVID, so it was a little bit different. But even in that, we all have a lot to be thankful for. I mean, it's a lot
Mhm.
going on right now.
Yes, we
So
do.
yeah,
And
play us a good thankful thank you song.
yeah,
Yes.
and my stylist too. She's a great stylist. Her name is Takara Hodges of Shop for You Boutique is on also.
Hello,
So
everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Friday
yeah.
Night Live.
So now I'm gonna play my favorite song, a song of Thanksgiving because Ken and I got married on Thanksgiving Day, as a matter of fact.
Oh wow.
Years, yes. Thank You, Lord by the Hawkins.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the sax lady, Crystal Brown.
Did I freeze?
All right, Crystal, we got through it. It was a little bit of freezing a little bit, but that's okay. We got through it anyway. We got through it anyway. Beautiful song. Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. Crystal, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your Friday night to come and hang out with little old me. It was just an honor to have you on the show. I think you're freezing. I hope you can hear me. But in 2021, I'm going to be calling you again to come and hang out with me again when you have time. I think I lost her. Crystal.
Okay.
Oh, I hear you. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Blessings to you and your future
Home. I see my.
endeavors.
Here I am. Here I am. Here I am.
Okay. Blessings to you and your future endeavors. And we'll talk again soon. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. She's
Thank
waving
you.
bye. Yeah.
Thank you. I
Okay.
see.
All
All
right.
right.
Did you all
Yeah.
enjoy that? That was Crystal, the
Mhm.
Sax Lady Brown. Yes, that was beautiful, beautiful. All right, so our gift tonight is going to be sponsored by my next guest, who is the founder and editor in chief of the Journal of Gospel Music. And he's going to be coming up in just a second. But in order to get this gift, you got to answer the trivia questions. Yes. All right, so let's do our trivia. All right. What popular Christmas beverage is also called milk punch? Do you all know what it is? You got to let Robert know. He's coming up in just a second. What is it? What is milk punch? Do you know what it is? Sure, you know what it is. I know my daughter know what it is. All right, put your answer in the comments, and we're going to find out who the winner is a little bit later. All right, let me tell you about my next guest. I am just so excited that he is here. All right, thank you, Cheryl. Okay, I'm gonna turn the music down just a little bit. Can you turn the music down? Thank you, thank you. I have my media director in the background. Okay, so let me tell you about my next guest. Robert Marovich. He is a Grammy-nominated author. Album notes: The Gospel According to Malaco Music Group 2019. Also, the 2016 recipient of a Certificate of Merit in Historical Sound Recorded Research from the Association of Recorded Sound Collections. He's also the host of the radio show Gospel Memories. Ooh. He's the recipient of the 2018 Rhythm of Gospel Award for Gospel Radio Show of the Year. Please welcome to Friday Night Live, the founder and editor-in-chief of the Journal of Gospel Music, Mr. Robert Marovich. Yes! Yes, sir.
Hello, Kat Carter. How are you?
I'm doing well, Robert. How are you?
Good, good. Was loving Crystal SaxLady Brown. Wow, she made that horn work.
Yeah, she was blowing, wasn't she?
He was
Oh,
indeed.
yes,
Was
sir.
indeed.
Yes, sir. I got a chance to ask her when we had spoken recently if she was from Indiana, and she said she's not from Indiana. So I don't know unless you saw her at a maybe a conference or something. There's no telling where she's
Yeah,
probably been all over the
exactly.
place.
Exactly. As she was saying, she was at so many different things. So it could have been. Could have been.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So how are you this evening?
doing great. Thank you. Thank you. Everything's fine. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding now that you are here.
Oh, yeah. We're here. We are
Yes,
here.
sir. Yes, sir. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the gospel? Excuse me, what is the Journal of Gospel Music?
It's a website that features gospel music of yesterday, today, and the emerging artists of tomorrow. Most of it consists of reviews of singles and albums, but also I post obituaries when artists pass away, and also some news. So if there's anything in the gospel music world that's particularly newsworthy, like the Dove Awards or the Stellar Awards or the Grammy Awards or something that happens, I try to post that as well. The idea behind it really is to focus on gospel music as an American art form, just like jazz, just like blues, just like folk music. And so I no gossip. I went there one time, very, very long time ago, and had my hand slapped. Said, this is not a gossip column. This is
Mhm.
a site for serious music. So yeah, that's I've been doing it since 2004.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Okay, so the mission statement or the vision, did you kind of tell me that already, or
It
can you
is,
tell me
yeah,
a
in a
little bit?
sense. Yeah,
Okay,
it really is to celebrate gospel music as an original art form uh,
okay,
that deserves its merit on its own right.
okay. So, who or inspired your interest in gospel music?
I would have to say it was um, Father Hayes, Pastor Charles G. Hayes, and the
Mm-hmm.
Cosmopolitan Church of Prayer Choir in Chicago. I had always enjoyed African American music, even as a little kid. When my friends
Mm-hmm.
were buying Beatles records, I was buying Booker T and the MGs.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you could imagine the sort of blonde haired, blue eyed kid listening to Time is Tight and Soul Clap and all that, that was really, it was in me.
Mm-hmm.
But I never really heard gospel music until 1984. And it was because was flipping the radio dial looking for something else and happened upon the radio broadcast from the Cosmopolitan Church of Prayer Choir.
Mm-hmm.
And as they sang, it all sunk into me. It was like, this is really all of the music, Booker T, all of the
Yeah.
Motown. This is really the root of it. And that's really what inspired me to get interested in gospel.
Okay. Okay. You were saying some really, you were bringing back memories while I was listening to you. You were telling me about your reasons why. Okay. So, why do you feel it's important to educate and enlighten the world about gospel music?
I think because it doesn't get its just desserts in terms of music. I think gospel music does not get the same attention as, say, blues or R&B or rock and roll, and yet so many of the artists that are in all of these genres came out of the church,
Mm-hmm.
and so I feel that there needs to be a, a way for people to learn more about gospel, just like they do about other genres, to understand. And it's also a way just to understand how a culture communicates. And that there's some gospel music is one of the few art forms that can lift you up. I mean, Mahalia Jackson used to say
Exactly.
with
Mm-hmm.
blues, she would say, what the difference between gospel and blues is that in blues, you sing your blues, but you're still blue afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But in gospel, you sing your troubles over, and you feel better
You feel
afterwards. And
better.
I think,
Yes, sir.
and
Mm-hmm.
so now you look at gospel music as an international phenomenon, and people who don't even understand English will listen to gospel music and get the feeling from the expression of the artists and musicians in gospel. So I just think it's important to what I can do to make sure that the gospel music is on the same plane as every other kind of music.
Okay. I want to open it up to my viewers. If you all have any questions that you want to ask Robert while I have him, put it in the comments and we'll ask him some questions. All right. So, how can JGM benefit gospel artists?
Well, one of the things we do is reviews, and that is probably the one way that the Journal of Gospel Music can help people. Um, I do album reviews, single reviews, and so oftentimes artists, it's mostly independent artists. I mean, I do artists of from Kirk Franklin onto a very very young artist, but it gives them some publicity. It gives them a very sound review. I try not to pull any punches. If somebody's work just wasn't ready for the radio, sometimes that happens. An artist may be very good in his or her own area and does a CD or a single, but probably should have had somebody listen to it or make some comments or do another mix or something before it was released. I always think that that's something that I can help them rather than do a review online. I can just say, listen, I think you might need to go back. And I've had artists come to me and say, can you listen to my track and just tell me offline what you think? And I can tell them, you do this, that, the other thing, just from having listened to gospel music for so many years. So, but outwardly, the reviews are everything because a lot of people read the reviews, and it can help an artist to get to the next level in their career.
Right. I agree. So is a platform just for artists, or can like someone that's not an artist go to benefit from the journal?
Sure, I think anyone who enjoys gospel music, who wants to learn more about gospel music, can in fact go to the journal and just read about it, because we do cover it all. We cover traditional, contemporary, we cover Christian contemporary music, we cover Christian hip hop, we cover gospel jazz, and I think probably the most interesting combination was a Japanese punk band that plays gospel music. So I think we've covered just about every type of spiritual music that there is. So you can learn. You could also enjoy it. So sometimes people just come there as enthusiasts of music and just want to read about a new release, or they want to read about an artist, or just want to learn more about an artist. They can go that and do that.
Okay. Everyone, I put the website for the Journal of Gospel Music. You all ought to go and check it out. It has some really interesting things. Robert, I have a few questions. Can we take
Sure.
some questions? Okay. The first one, this is actually from my mother. It says, is gospel an American phenomenon, or is there gospel roots in Europe or Africa or Latin America?
That's a great question. That although it is an American phenomenon, it has its roots in West Africa. In a nutshell, and Pearl Williams Jones, a great ethnomusicologist who's passed away, explained that gospel music has retained more of its African roots than just about any other kind of African American music. And if you think about it, from West Africa, there was no difference between secular and sacred. All music was secular, all music was sacred, all music was used for whether it was a religious observance or just a celebration of harvest. And so what gospel music has picked up from its Africanisms are things like falsetto singing, polyrhythms, hand clapping and foot patting. The long vamps that we have, the repetitive vamps, those are also Africanisms. Probably the style of gospel that best retained its Africanisms was coming out of the Pentecostal and apostolic churches. The Church of God in Christ really built its music ministry on these essential forms of African expression. So while it took root here after the Civil War, and as African American churches grew up around the South and in the North, this style of singing left what they would call the praise houses, or just the brush arbor meetings where enslaved Africans would celebrate their culture and their music and their religion. Then it was in the Baptist church, then it was in the Pentecostal church, and even though the hymn books oftentimes were um, the white European hymn books, African Americans used the style that was carried through oral tradition from West Africa to the current day to spice up these songs and make them their own. And that happened in the South, and then it was brought to the North, where people like Thomas A. Dorsey and Roberta Martin and others, Mahalia Jackson, turned it into a commercial enterprise.
Okay. Here's another question. Is hip hop comparable to gospel music in your opinion?
You know, there is one way that I think, and this is in a way, because it speaks to everyday life. I think the messages of hip hop and gospel are very similar. I think the realism in both are very similar. I've often felt that the gospel hip hop artists are the sort of 21st century equivalents of the street corner evangelists of the 20s and 30s, because they take the message into the highways and byways. They don't just keep the message within the church. They will go and reach people on the streets where they're at. So if young people are listening to hip hop, why they want to make sure that hip hop is used as a way to express the gospel. So I think that's a couple of ways that those two genres are very comparable.
Okay. All right. So I know that you have a radio show known as Gospel Memories.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't put down the call letters. What are the call letters? Where is it located?
It's in Chicago at WLUW. I'm on Central Time, 10 to 11 every Saturday morning, and then at gospelmemories.com, a person can either log in. You can just visit the site, listen live to the show, or listen to a month worth of podcasts. So I always have a month worth of shows up there, and it's all the traditional. We're talking about the Roberta Martin singers and the Dixie Hummingbirds and the Southwest Michigan State Choir, all of the music that, grandparents and great-grandparents listen to.
Some of the stuff I knew about that. Some of those I hadn't heard of, but I knew one of them when you brought it up. I heard it. You're giving us some really good informative information, and that's what this show is about. And I really appreciate you taking time and
my pleasure.
sharing this with us.
Thank you for having me.
So I know that you've done some really phenomenal interviews. Okay, so with Gospel Legends, which of your Gospel Legend interviews is the most memorable and why?
It actually was an interview with Etta James. And
you interviewed Etta James?
Met Etta James. And you wouldn't think of Etta James as a gospel singer, but she actually had started out as a gospel singer with the St. Paul Baptist Church choir out of Los Angeles. And a gentleman that was J. Earl Hines, who was the choir director at St. Paul Baptist Church, taught her to sing. She really wanted to sing gospel. Her grandfather said, "Why are you giving the church all your free time? Wow. Why don't you use your talent and use it for yourself?" So he moved. She said on the interview that they literally moved out of Los Angeles because he did not want her giving her time and talent away for free. But she really gives a lot of propers to the gospel world for teaching her. And then she actually she was upset. Somebody, after she had started to sing pop music, she was going to sing a gospel song. And a couple of church ladies said, "Well, you're not Mahalia Jackson." And she really hurt her feelings because she had always felt, that she was from the church and she was singing this other kind of music, but never felt the difference, and sort of got the cold hand of some folks on that. But yeah, it was fascinating. I did not know until after that interview was over that she doesn't give many interviews. I'm glad I didn't know that beforehand.
Wow. That's amazing. Okay, so another amazing thing is when I was reading some of the bio that you had sent me, there was a documentary on BBC. It was a BBC Two documentary, The Life of Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Am I saying that correct?
That's right.
Correctly? Okay, so who was Rosetta Tharpe? I have some pictures while you're talking about her.
Oh, sure, yeah. Sister Rosetta Tharpe was one of gospel music's first major superstars. She came out of the Church of God in Christ. Her mother, Katie Bell Newbin, was a evangelist for the Church of God in Christ. She would play mandolin on the street corners, and Sister Tharp would play guitar. And in fact, they were for a long time here in Chicago at Robert's Temple Church of God in Christ. Until then, they moved to Miami. Although she was from Cotton Plant, Arkansas, but then they moved to Chicago and then to Florida. She was one of the first superstars in gospel music. Recorded for Decca Records, worked at the Cotton Club, and really, she is now known as the godmother of rock and roll because of the way she played guitar. And she really particularly influenced a lot of the British guitarists from the 60s and 70s when she would go there on tour. I'm kind of two minds about the godmother of rock and roll. I think that's a great accolade for her, and I know she would appreciate that. But I also think that it makes one of my pet peeves is whenever gospel seems to be seen only as somehow a parent to rock and roll. It's almost like saying, "Hi, I'm Jeff's dad. I have no identity. I'm just Jeff's dad." And so I think that she's the godmother of rock and roll, but she was also the great superstar of gospel music, and she took the sound of the Pentecostal church, and she really put it in her guitar, and in so doing influenced so many people. She was so popular that in 1951 she filled a baseball field for her wedding. She married a gentleman named Russell Morrison. They had a huge wedding. It was a publicity stunt. Yes, there was a wedding there. Reverend Kelsey married them. Stunt. Yes, people bought gifts. They thought they were.
The whole field was filled. Oh my! The stadium was filled,
and it was filled, and people came. They had a concert afterwards.
Wow!
So she was that popular.
Wow. Okay, so viewers, I don't know if you all knew this, but Robert also is an author, and there is a book out. It's called A City Called Heaven, The Birth of Gospel Music in Chicago. Can we talk about that book a little bit?
Sure can.
Robert? Okay. I think I have a picture of it. Is that it?
Yep, that is it.
Okay. So where did you get your idea or information for this book?
It was really from being part of the Gospel Announcers Guild here in Chicago. I had joined because of Gospel Memories. Okay. And had been a member and got to meet people like Eugene Smith of the Roberta Martin Singers and Willie James McFadder of the Alex Bradford Singers and Maceo Woods and all these artists who would come to our meetings, Lady Doris Sykes and all of them. And in 2006, I had left the position and decided that if ever I was going to write a book about gospel music, it was going to be then. And I just felt that there hadn't been a book that just focused on gospel music from Chicago. Lots of books talked about Chicago, but even though there were books on Chicago blues and jazz and all these other genres, there wasn't one that just talked about gospel music. Yeah, exactly. Just and from the church perspective, that I try to show how the music evolved from the church. So the churches that were the most powerful here, they had radio broadcasts and had programs and had quartets and groups at the home groups and the choirs that were popular.
Wow,
it's all in there. Yeah, it covers it from the very beginnings to about 1970 when the music really shifted to California. But anyway, the gospel capital shifted to California.
Okay, so explain your title.
Yes. Actually, it's funny. It wasn't actually the original title. The original title was Shout Troubles Over, but the publisher, the University of Illinois Press, thought that people might not understand what that means. So they liked the idea of A City Called Heaven because we talk about the Great Migration and how so much of gospel music in Chicago was born out of the Great Migration. All the major artists of the first generation were migrants. And so they were coming to... there's the whole idea of the spiritual city called heaven, that you're on your way to a city called heaven and where the streets, were paved with gold. Of course, in Chicago in the 1920s, they were not paved, certainly not with gold. And most of the migrants coming were probably asked to pave them to start with. So, but the idea was that Chicago was seen as this promised land for migrants coming from the South. And in some ways it was, and in some ways it wasn't. And in a lot of the ways that it wasn't, was expressed through the music of gospel in Chicago.
Okay. So viewers, Robert is going to be sponsoring one of these books. He's going to autograph it, and this is going to be our prize tonight. So I hope you all put the answers in there. Cheryl, do you have a winner just yet? You looking? My daughter is tallying up the winner, Robert. Okay, while she's tallying that up. Okay, so what category or genre would you put this book in? Would it be?
I would say more traditional, because it really covers. It goes up to 1970. So after that is almost a second book. So this covers really the 1920s through the 1960s, and that really was the golden era of gospel music was in there, and that's the whole era. There is really what people would consider traditional gospel music.
Okay. So describe the setting.
Oh, the setting, yes. Well, mostly in the south and west sides of Chicago is where African Americans migrated to, lived, and that's where all the churches grew up. So the south side first had most of the major churches where gospel was sung. Also on the west side and the near north side as well. Okay. So that's really the setting. Although we do talk, we talk about other cities too, because, for example, Reverend Clarence Cobbs, who started the first Church of Deliverance, which was very important for gospel music in Chicago, was from Memphis. Okay. Matter of fact, Lucy Campbell, who was a great songwriter for the National Baptist Convention, was, I think, his English teacher when he was still in school in Memphis. Wow. But he moved to Chicago. In fact, later on, and years later, when she saw him, she was like, "I remember you." But yeah, the setting is mostly in Chicago, mostly in the churches, and in the high schools too, because a lot of the high schools had programs and so forth.
Okay. Cheryl, do you have a winner? We have a winner, Robert.
All right.
So who's our winner? You want to turn your mic on, or you're just going to tell me?
Our winner was Carmen Cunningham.
Carmen Cunningham is going to win this book. She won the book. Let me pull it up.
Yep.
This is what Carmen is getting, and it's going to be autographed by Mr. Marovich for you. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Congratulations, Carmen.
Congratulations. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. The book is here it is.
So I'll give her information so that you can mail it to her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you were writing the book, what was one of the most surprising things you learned while creating this book?
I think the most exciting and interesting thing I learned was the influence of African American classical musicians on gospel music. Thomas Dorsey, somebody asked if I had met Thomas Dorsey. I met his niece and I met his wife. I did not meet Dr. Dorsey. Had passed on before I did the book, but I did meet Lena McClin, interviewed her. She's interviewed for the book. And I did meet Catherine Dorsey as well. And I know Reverend Stanley Keeble. He is also mentioned in this book. Somebody mentioned.
I know Reverend Stanley Keeble too. Yeah. Wow.
Yep. He's in here. He's. We had a great interview with Bertha Melson of the Lux Singers, who she sang with the Lux Singers. Had, believe it or not, Clay Evans, Reverend Dr. Clay Evans.
Yes, sir. I do.
Bertha Melson, James Cleveland, and they were all knee high to a duck at that time. They were young people. Mm-hmm. But could you imagine? But it was just, and Reverend Stanley Keeble and Bertha Melson went back many, many years. So it was fun just talking to both of them over lunch. But I think the classical, Dr. Dorsey, he really wanted to make sure that people took gospel music seriously.
Seriously, yeah.
And so he made sure that music, his singers, did all of the right things. They articulated their words. If they wanted to learn how to read music, he would teach them. If they wanted to get more education, he would certainly make that happen. He taught how you stand, how you move on together on the choir stands. He
Mm-hmm.
taught, again, diction. Um, he really wanted to make, and he would bring these classical musicians in, like Professor J. Wesley Jones or Lucy Campbell, or some of the choir directors that were working on the glee clubs, and he would have them kind of give them an idea of what they were doing right, what they were doing wrong.
Yeah.
And so that was the thing with Professor Dorsey, is he trusted that the classical musicians in Chicago could help gospel really gain respect, and I think he did that.
Wow. Robert, I have a question. I guess there are a couple people interested in the book and they want to know how can they order an autograph copy. What can
Probably
you
the
tell
best
them?
way is, if you don't mind, Kat, taking their information and passing it on, we can take care of that for them.
I can do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
if they can just pass their address or whatever, or email, we can work on that together.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So that concludes my questions. Do you have any shout outs you want to give to anybody tonight?
Yeah, I want to shout out to everybody that's been visiting here. I saw Laurel Delaney, my wife, was on here. She's
Hello,
in the other
Laura.
room watching. Yes, yes, and a great supporter of everything that I've done and continue to do. Really, I would have to say that I would not be doing what I'm doing right now if it were not for her encouragement, because she's an entrepreneur, and she gave me that sense that I could go out and pursue this, which was really entrepreneurial in its own right. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kat, for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is what she said. Hello.
Yay!
Hey. Okay. Um, Robert, I just want to thank you so much. I really appreciate you for taking time out to come and hang out with me and
Yeah.
sharing some rich, informative information. Some of this stuff I didn't even know. So, I mean, I just really appreciate you coming and sharing your wisdom and some of the things that you've learned about gospel music with us. And thank you for the autograph
Oh, you're
copy.
welcome. You're
Oh my
very
God.
welcome. You're very welcome. No, it's great. I really enjoyed this. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. This is a great platform.
So, do you think since you like it, you'll come back next year if I
Oh,
call you?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's right. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. So, best wishes to you in your future endeavors. And so, anyone that's interested in an autograph copy, I need you to go to my Facebook page. I have an inbox on my Facebook page. What do you want? The email address?
Yeah,
Or
email be fine.
put your email address on there and let me know that you're interested in an autograph copy, okay? And then I'll pass the information over to Robert. Go to my Facebook inbox, not instant message, inbox, okay? All right. Okay. Well, it was great having you, Robert. Thank
Good
you.
to be
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you once
Good to be
again.
here.
And you have a great weekend and happy
You too.
holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you as well.
Okay. Take care.
You too. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye. Did you all enjoy that? Did you learn? I learned so much. Oh, that was a lot of history and information. Great information. That was an awesome interview. Yes, we're going to get him back in 2021. Oh, yes, we are. Congratulations, Carmen. Carmen, you got the book, girl. You got the book. Congratulations. So, finally, let's do some accolades right quick because I know we're close to the hour, probably a little bit over. Want to say thank you to the SaxLady. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today and sharing your gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Also, want to thank Mr. Robert Marovich. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us on Friday Night Live and sharing your information on the Journal of Gospel Music. Be sure to go and check out the website, journalofgospelmusic.com. There's a lot of great information on there. I got a chance to kind of look through it, and I think you guys would really enjoy it. Go check that out. Also, next week, oh my goodness, guess who is coming next week? Chase is coming. Chase Huna is coming. Yes, he is national recording artist. You all don't want to miss that. And also, a really good friend of mine. I haven't seen them in a long time, but Minister Tony Johnson. They are custom tailors. They have a business known as Stitch Masters. They are going to be in the house. Well, Minister Tony Johnson is going to be in the house. So make sure you check out next week. They're going to show us some of their custom tailored designs and some pieces that they have. So make sure that you check it out. Also, sure, you want to do a few. You want to do some shout outs? Yeah, we got time. Okay.
Can real quick.
So let's do some quick Cheryl shout outs.
All right.
Did we give the answer? You knew what the answer was, but did we give the answer? The answer was eggnog. I saw
everyone knew the answer.
Yeah, they
no
knew
one
the
said
answer.
Anything else?
Okay. Okay, let's give some shout outs.
Okay, so let's see here. Hey, Karan, glad you made it, girl. Hey, Mother DeBose, glad you made it too. Lady Jackson, glad you made it as well. Hey, Team Cradle, glad you made it out. Hey, Carmen Cunningham, glad you're here too. Celeste Wilson, glad you made it. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hey, Charlie Souza, glad you made it as well. Hey, Gigi, glad you made it. Hey, Virginia Mobley, welcome back.
Hey, Evangelist.
Hey, Rosa Wilson Ritter. Glad you made it. I hope you enjoyed the show. Let's see. Hey, Margaret Stallworth. Glad you made it. Hope you enjoyed. Hey, Charlene, our stamp queen collector.
Charlene is coming back. She's coming back this month. She's going to be back on the show. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got Eric Stallworth. Hey, Eric Stallworth. Glad you made it as well. Hey, Auntie Ada. Glad you made it back. We have the saxophonist Aisha DeBose.
Aisha, you gonna come back? Come back to Friday Night Live. Come back, Aisha.
Hey, brother Esau. Glad you made it back as well.
You say Lady Jackson? You got Lady Jackson?
I got Lady Jackson.
Okay.
Oh, and we got the Team Donaldsons. Hey, Team Donaldsons.
The Cradle's on here too. I
got the Team Cradles already.
All right.
I see you here.
All right. I want to remind you guys that Christmas is actually on Friday this month, and it's the last Friday of the month. And so me and the Lord have been talking, and we got some wonderful surprises coming up. So you don't want to miss that. We're going to have an extended show. It's probably going to be like 2 or 3 hours. We're going to be giving away a lot of stuff. Most of my business guests have volunteered and given prizes that I'm going to be giving away. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So you all get ready. Get ready for that. All right. Is that it, Cheryl?
We also had Laurel Delaney.
Laura, his wife. Yeah.
Yes, Robert's wife. Glad she came out too.
Yes.
That's it.
All right. Congratulations again to my girl, Carmen. Congratulations. That's going to be an awesome gift. I want to send out some big love hugs to you guys, and to remind you to make sure you check out our website. You can check out our past shows. This show will be on the website soon as well. And then don't want to forget about our credits. Want to send a shout out to saxophonist Kevin Moore. That was who you were listening to in the prelude from the CD entitled Every Breath We Take. All right, I think that's it, Cheryl. That's it. Another great show. Yes. All right. Well, you all have a safe weekend, and I will see you all next week. Same platform. Love you. All right. Bye-bye.